Everyone gets lighter. Life is lots of presents, and every single day you get a big bunch of gifts under a sparkling pine tree hung with countless balls of colored lights, piles of presents wrapped in fancy paper. The red one with the green ribbon, and the green one with the red ribbon, and the blue one with silver, and the white one with gold. It's not what happens, it's how you handle it. You are in a water bubble human body on a private jet in seemingly a God world, a glass of champagne, a certain luminosity and clarity, skin of air, a flat sea of white clouds below, a vast dome of blue sky above, and your mind is an iron nail in between. It's not what happens, it's how you handle it. Dead can't bounce, catch a falling knife. After endless shadow boxing in your sleep, fighting in your dreams and knocking yourself out, you realize everything is empty and appears as miraculous display. All are in nature, the play of emptiness and clarity. Everyone gets lighter, everyone gets lighter, everyone gets lighter. Everyone is light. And this next poem is called Welcoming the Flowers. I'm standing on the corner of Stanton and Christie, waiting for the traffic light to change. A man is sitting on the steps of a building, holding his young son on his lap. He is eating fried chicken from Chico's takeout on Houston. He chews on the wings and feeds bits of the breast to his son. The man finishes eating, puts the leftover chicken and bones, fries and soda can in a paper bag and leaves it on the sidewalk. A brown dog from the neighboring building snoops around, gets his nose in the bag, chews on the bones, and makes a mess. The man hits the dog with a newspaper, and it yelps and runs away. A black cat sitting in a window watches wide-eyed, staring down at the dog, chicken bones, and grizzle. I see their past and present lives. The man eats the chicken, and the chicken was his mother, who had died 2 years ago of cancer. The dog chewing on the bones was his father, who had died 5 years ago of a heart attack. And the cat in the window was his grandmother. And his young son, whom he holds so tenderly, was the man who killed him in his previous life. His wife comes home with the groceries and takes the boy into the building. She had been his lover in many past lives and was his mother for the first time in this one. The world just makes me laugh. Fill what is empty, empty what is full. light as body, light as breath. Welcoming the flowers, daffodils baptized in butter, lilacs luxuriously licking the air, necklaces of wisteria bowing to magnolia mamas. The cherry blossoms are razor blades, the snow dahlias sharp as cat piss. The lilies of the valley are lilies of fur, lilies of feather, lilies of fin, lilies of skin. The almost Miss America rose. They all smell so good, and I get sucked into their meaty, earthy goodness. You make my heart feel warm. I lay my head on your chest and feel free, filling what is empty, emptying what is full, filling what is empty, emptying what is full, filling what is empty, emptying what is full. The gods we know we are, the gods we knew we were. I smell you with my eyes and see you with my ears and feel you with my lips and taste you with my nose and hear you with my tongue. I want you to sit in my heart and smile. Words come from sound. Sound comes from wisdom, and wisdom comes from emptiness. Deep relaxation in great perfection. Welcoming the flowers, armfuls of honeysuckle and columbine, red-tipped knives of Indian paintbrush. The fields of daisies are the people who betrayed me. The lupine were self-serving and unkind. Orchids are the tongues that lied. Hyacinths are the songs of suicides. The voluminous, voluptuous bougainvillea are flames licking what cannot burn. The big bunch of 1,000 red roses are all the people I made love to. Hit my nose with the stem of a rose. The poppies have pockets packed with narcotic treats. The chrysanthemums are a garland of skulls. I go to death willingly with the same comfort and bliss as when I lay my head on my lover's chest. Welcoming the flowers. The third bouquet is a crown of bluebells, a carillon of foxglove. A sunflower snuggles its head on my lap and gazes up at the sky. May all the tiny black insects crawling on the peony petals be my sons and daughters in future lives. Great balls of light, white, red, blue, concentric dazzle, yellow, green, great exaltation. The world just makes me laugh. May sound and light not rise up and appear as enemies. May I know all sound as my sound. May I know all light as my light. May I know all phenomena as myself. May I realize original nature, not fabricated by mind, empty, naked awareness. This is a poem that I started writing in July of 2001 and in New York City here upstairs, and finished writing it by the end of that year, 2001. And it's called, There Was a Bad Tree. There was a bad tree, a bad tree the people hated. The leaves gave off a foul smell, and the flowers had a bitter stink. If you got too close, you vomited. The fruit was poison. One bite and you were dead. Everyone really disliked it. The bad tree stunk. They talked endlessly about it and decided to cut it down. Get rid of it. They chopped with axes and barely made a dent. Wearing breathing masks, they whacked at it and nibbled and chipped. Oily powder from the shiny dark green leaves got on their skin, blistered, and was really itchy, and they scratched bloody red. They put on protective gear with oxygen and went at it with electric buzzsaws and heavy equipment. Working 24-hour shifts, finally they cut it down. Everyone was very happy and celebrated the great victory. A noble deed, well done. And they went to bed exhausted. The next morning, the bad tree had grown back, had sprung up new and bigger and more beautiful and ugly. It was very discouraging. They talked a lot about it and cut it down again and poured gasoline on the roots and burned all the leaves and branches in a big fire. After the smoldering embers got cold, the tree grew back, bigger, more bad, and really gorgeous. Other people had been watching from their houses, waiting their turn. They thought themselves smarter, with higher intellectual capabilities. They knew how to get rid of the tree. It was a growing plant, a wood tree that grew in the earth. They incinerated it, burned the roots with chemicals, vaporizing acids, and robotic lasers, detonated on the ground, bombed from the air, hit with smart missiles, and bombarded with radiation. They made a firestorm and covered the ground with concrete and steel. The tree grew back, more fresh, more elegant, even gracious, and really ugly. The wood was harder, darker, thick, hot muscle, and the leaves, full and lush, moved like underwater plants luxuriously in the breeze. It was very discouraging. They talked endlessly about it and came to a big decision. The mayor resigned in disgrace, and those who had worked so hard left humiliated, departed, moved to the other side of town, stayed away. Then, out of the blue, appeared these beautiful people. They were simple and humble and a little like peacocks and seemingly well-intentioned with a great sense of humor. Radiantly relaxed, oozing loving kindness and compassion, they walked right up and started eating the leaves. They ate the leaves and enjoyed them, became happy and laughed and chomped on more leaves. You could tell they really liked the taste. They pressed their cheeks to the flowers, black velvet coated with transmission oil. They licked the sweet juices that seeped from the petals. The pollen was coal dust and petroleum gas. Burying their noses, they sucked in deep breaths, eating the smell. Great bliss. They discovered the fruit hidden beneath the leaves, overripe mangoes with sticky eggplant skin hung like testicles. And inside the fruit was rotting meat like liver. The special people got their faces into the stinking slime and really got into it, inhaling with their lips and teeth and tongues. They licked and drank the thick red juice. The seeds, like cabochon rubies, seemed particularly potent and were chewed with great delight. The fruit contained the 5 wisdoms. The men and women became luminous. Their skin was golden, and their bodies, almost transparent, were clothed in shimmering rainbow lights. They became sleepy, yawned, and curled up under the tree and took a nap. While they slept, music filled the air. Lounging against the gnarled tree trunk and protruding roots, their huge bodies, colored red, yellow, blue, green, white, rested in great equanimity and radiated huge compassion. Inside the tree was the secret home of many demigods, hungry ghosts, and earth spirits who were very pleased with all the positive attention being paid them. After years of abuse, mutilation, and destruction, they were thrilled, even though they were being ravaged and their flowers wrecked. At the root endings, there were jewels, diamonds and emeralds and rubies, which were stars in the sky of the world below. The beautiful men and women woke up and nibbled on the leaves again. They ate the leaves like deer, pausing between bites, looking up at the vast, empty sky. The leaves and fruit increased their clarity and bliss and introduced the nature of primordially pure wisdom mind. And another poem from 1986 is called Berlin and Chernobyl. William Burroughs and I were in Berlin the week after Chernobyl, and we got caught endlessly in the warm spring rains. Big fat raindrops splashing in my face and running down my hair into my lips over and over again. Big fat raindrops soaked with radioactivity soaked into William Burroughs' gray fedora as we ran down the streets to the hotels. A tiara of diamonds, big fat raindrops bejeweled with radioactivity soaked into this black leather jacket that I'm wearing today. Great wet clusters in the soft black leather shoulders, 100,000 rims. I only wear it on special occasions. I feel like Louis XIV. I got a coat sewn with 10,000 diamonds. And I got off easy. This is a poem from 2003, and it's called La saggezza delle streghe, Wisdom of the Witches. On a cold, early November night, Mimo, Martino, and I climbed to the top of the Norman rock tower at Castel Bezzano. In the green lips of the trees, the Dolomite mountain peaks of Basilicata, big, broken, splintered teeth spiked the sky and a thin crescent moon. Fog blew in from the blackness. Clouds rolled in below and swirled around us, and exposed briefly by a beam of light, fled quickly, slipped back into the pitch black, and stumbled up and danced down the stone slopes, and rushed in to touch, embrace, and welcome us. Hidden in the fog and mists were many witches, each a secret to herself. The white witch with the curved knife and the bella figura, the red witch made of ruby with a voluptuous body, the blue witch with an owl face rode a donkey with 3 legs, and the yellow witch wore a ball gown of gold brocade and carried a mongoose vomiting jewels, and the green witch with a hawk face rode a camel, and scorpions came from her fingertips, and the beautiful witch with a smiling face held a lamp of the sun and moon. The witches of fog ate the witches of snow, and witches dressed in black rode white dogs and danced, flew, chased, glided, and leaped over, and long dives from life to death. And witches who were rotting in hell swarmed, screeching with joy. They were happy to see us. The witch Santa Myrte was a skeleton with a grim reaper sickle and a blood-curdling grin. She usually wore black, but occasionally liked feather boas and sequin gowns and big fake jewels and necklaces and rings on each bone finger. She chain-smoked cigarettes and joints, drank whiskey straight, and snorted drugs. She had no flesh, but loved sex and bliss. She danced exquisitely the criminal tango. Santa Myrte answered the prayers of the poorest and most outcast. People in trouble adored her. Whores and drug dealers, car thieves, burglars, and con artists sought her protection. People prayed for the miracle of money for food and the lost and abandoned. Every single one who asked her help, she helped. Santa Muerte was the wish-fulfilling witch. The witch of poetry was Saraswati, and her sister Lakshmi was the witch of wealth. When Saraswati wrote great poems and sang beautiful songs, filling the world with wisdom and compassion, her sister Lakshmi got very jealous and did the most terrible things. She stole the cash and property, lied, invented false gossip, and had her excluded, and had the lawyers sue, blocking everything from happening. She punished her for her success. Sweet revenge. That's why poets never have money. Poets are poor sisters with great clarity and great bliss. Put your ear to stone and open your heart to the sky. Put your ear to stone and open your heart to the sky. Put your ear to stone and open your heart to the sky. Put your ear to stone and open your heart to the sky. Ugly and beautiful witches, peaceful and wrathful witches, increasing and magnanimous witches are the outer displays of wisdom. Witches of water, witches of earth, witches of fire, witches of air, witches of space are the inner wisdoms. And witches of fabulous sex in the union of great bliss are the secret wisdoms. And witches of great compassion and emptiness are the innermost wisdoms. Mimo, Martino, and I climbed back down the rocky mountain path as if feathers were under our feet. And as we walked down below the clouds on steps cut in the rocks toward the medieval stone houses that clung to the edge of the mountain peaks, thousands of modulating waves of sweet sound sang in silence. And this is another poem this one is from 1994. And it's called Just Say No to Family Values. On a day when you're walking down the street and you see a hearse with a coffin followed by a flower car and limos, you know the day is auspicious. Your plans are going to be successful. But on a day when you see a bride and groom and wedding party, watch out. Be careful. It might be a bad sign. Just say no to family values and don't quit your day job. Drugs are sacred substances, and some drugs are very sacred substances. Please praise them for somewhat liberating the mind. Tobacco is a sacred substance to some, and even though you stopped smoking, show a little respect. Alcohol is totally great. Let us celebrate the glorious qualities of booze. And I had a good time being with you. Just do it. Just do it. Just don't not do it. Do it. Christian fundamentalists and fundamentalists in general are viruses, and they're killing us, multiplying and mutating, and they're destroying us. Now, you know, you gotta give strong medicine to combat a virus. Who's buying? Good acid, I'm flying, slipping and sliding, slurping and slamming. I'm sinking, dipping and dripping and squirting inside you. Never fast forward a cum shot. Milk, milk, lemonade, round the corner where the chocolate's made. I love to see your face when you're suffering. Do it with anybody you want, whatever you want, for as long as you want, any time, any place when it's possible. And try to be safe in a situation where you must abandon yourself beyond all concepts. Just say no to family values. We don't got to say no to family values. We never think about them. Just do it. Just make love and compassion.